A couple of years back, I traveled to Peru in search for a shaman. My gut had led me on this journey in hunt for Ayahuasca, a medicine they've been using with their communities for centuries. My mission was to unlock my creative superpowers, which, in real terms, meant I was merely looking for a stronger connection with my subconscious, because this is where all of our ideas spring from. During this experience, a very simple fact was clarified to me. And today, I'm going to say I can save you multiple pukes in a bucket and an exploding headache and share with you how to unleash creative potential in your own life. Because if it's not the destination but the journey, why not make it as colorful as possible? Most of the time in this day and age, we're just reacting to the repetitive series of events life has for us. Every day it's usually along the lines of get up, maybe exercise, go to work, deal with work, navigate home, maybe exercise, probably give the brain a bit of a break from all the stuff it's had to react to that day in front of a screen. Bit of family stuff, maybe, and then, of course, we're going to have to sleep so we can continue reacting to everything again the next day. I came to this realization one day. I was about halfway through my electrical apprenticeship. I was sitting on top of my favorite mountain, contemplating life. It was a time when I was starting to become really ambitious and learning the value of goal setting. My plans were pretty straightforward. Get qualified and start my own business as soon as possible. Straightforward, yes. But would you say this sounded like an exciting life plan? Up Mount Eden that day, invigorated by the overview of my city, I thought to myself, why do I believe that consuming my life with these goals is the right thing to do? Is it because society encourages this as the best path? Is it because I feel it's my best shot at affording a mortgage? And if what I was learning about the process of goal setting was true and we can achieve anything we set our minds to, why not create an exciting future instead of being conditioned by an outdated system? That day, up Mount Eden, I opened my mind to give new ideas space to form. Later that week, I brought a camera, and I asked some of my friends for some photography advice. They just said, basically, take loads of photos, bro. This actually turned out to be okay advice, though, because it helped a new idea spring to mind, which was to start a street photography blog set on a single road. Would you be nervous approaching a stranger on the street, asking them to share something really close to them so you could photograph them and share it online for the world to see? I was battling so many internal objections, I didn't even really know how to use my camera. But since I'd opened my mind and this idea had come in, I followed my gut and rolled with it, approaching my first stranger on K Road. My confidence started to grow, along with Humans of K Road and my photography skills. Once I'd opened my mind, I started to become curious about a lot of things. Sadly, this led me to discover quite a few negatives in the world as well. But this opened a new train of thought, and I decided to follow my gut once again and put a creative spin on the street photography scene. I figured, if we can achieve anything we set our minds to, doesn't this mean that the future of the planet can be as bright as we collectively can imagine? And since believing in things causes action, why not use social media and photography to influence this? And so this is how Humans for the Future was formed, where anyone can share positive advice and ideas on sustainability. The ideas were flowing in because I was giving my mind the space to let them in. Up till then, the only thing that I'd related to art was how I'd flopped it in high school. Soon, I started to mix art with electrical and construction waste. That very summer, the council commissioned one of my upcycled solar-powered tables right outside here in the town square. The artwork, a collaboration from some of my awesome artist friends. By now, I'd figured it out. We're not truly living unless we're creating. So I wanted to make my next goal in line with sharing this passion with the world. So I focused on this intent and left my mind open. By this stage, I was synergizing with all sorts of amazing humans, including a budding art psychologist who lived in America. We actually met on Instagram, and I shared a new idea with her, and by the time I met up with Brie Basco, I was living in Mexico writing a novel. She flew down from her hometown in Louisiana, and together in a small village called Sayulita, we launched the international project Creative Mirror. The plan was, after about a year or so of conducting a creative experiment around the world, we'd release it in public in hope to inspire people's creative souls. The concept was we would give an artist the outline of half of an object, then we'd give the other half their mirror image to their sibling, child, or parent who perhaps wasn't so skilled at art. Now, the brief was they weren't allowed to look at each other's until they were finished, and the object was from a parallel universe where anything was possible. I felt that using parallel universe as a creativity jog helped people give permission to open their minds a little further, perhaps thinking on a different plane than usual. We were dragging people right out of their comfort zones, but the non-artists involved were proving you don't need to be skilled to produce really creative works. So far, we've had Creative Mirror Auckland, Creative Mirror Sydney. Next up, we're holding Creative Mirror New Orleans. During the process, a new form of curiosity emerged, and I started to ask all the artists involved, where did they think their best ideas came from? Answers were varied, of course, but what was really interesting was the common thread, and this was that the best ideas were formed when the mind was left completely open. Now, I encourage you all to make it a habit to take a break from reacting, clear space on your mind's canvas, and dive deep for ideas that are intrinsic to you. I'm going to share with you a practical way to do this, and I'm going to keep it simple. The point of this exercise is to direct your mind down a specific corridor of thought, but then through unexplored doors. Whether you're up your favorite mountain or, hey, in the shower also works. It can be as simple as focusing on your breath until you get past all the surface chatter that's a condition of everyday life. But you can take it a step further, and if you have a goal or a problem or an art piece that you want a creative solution for, visualize this or mentally repeat the question over and over in your mind until you've formed a strong enough connection. Then swap some of this focus and become aware of the in and the out of your breath as well. After a while, completely let go of all intentions or expectations, focusing only on the in and out of your breath. All your initial thoughts can be quite repetitive, but just let them come and go without getting caught up in them. This opens space for thoughts deeper within, and your intuition can really shine through in the form of ideas. These can be cultivated into visions or curiously lead you into different circumstances than the routines you're used to. Sometimes I actually visualize a corridor and a doorway in my mind. This can act as like a gate to my subconscious thought. Since I've had a bit of success with this technique in the past, diving deep for ideas that are intrinsic to me, I decided I would use it in front of my shaman in Peru. I just nicked back a glass of blacker than night, foul-smelling liquid, and was sitting back starting to visualize a hallway. Because, if you'll remember, my plan was to use the ayahuasca to create a deeper connection with my subconscious. So I figured if I pimped out the hallway like Lord of the Rings style, it would become a more powerful technique. So I'm going down this crazy-looking hallway that my mind's dreamed up. I'm super excited. I get to the door. It's made of crystal and everything. I'm so pumped. I go to open it. The door wouldn't open. Now I started to freak out. Like, really freak out. I mean, I just traveled across the world to create a deeper connection with my subconscious, and the door wouldn't even open. I'm going backwards. And I know what you're thinking. It's just in your mind, man. Open the bloody door. But I was using all my mental power, and my head felt like it was going to explode. I had to break away. When I did, I realized the shaman was still chanting and bobbing around. Everything was cool. So I just lay back and focused on my breath. After a while, the hallway appeared again, just a normal one this time, and I didn't get caught up in focusing on it. I just kept my mind clear and focused on my breath. And you know what? By the time I got to the doorway, it was already wide open, and I stepped through to what I can only describe to you as infinite possibilities. And then I threw up in a nearby bucket. And so, as promised, I can save you all that effort, because now you know that when your mind is still, the door to your subconscious is always open. What unites TED speakers, besides a passion for what they do, is they've learned to grab hold and harness the ideas that matter to them, and with determination, they've changed these into tangible, world-changing realities. So, if it's not the destination but the journey, and we want to make it as colourful as possible, then let's breathe into our dreams to change our lives and the world around us. Thank you.